I'm Jaiden Morgan, and I've lived in Jonesborough basically all 23 years of my life. So my dad moved here a good few years before I was born. He was looking for a good place to raise young kids. The area itself was just the perfect kind of area to raise young children in a safe environment. Some of my first memories in Jonesborough, I definitely remember, coming to Jonesborough days, playing on some of the inflatables. Then it would have to be, the short time I was enrolled in Jonesborough Elementary. For the rest of, my school career, up until high school graduation, I was homeschooled by my dad. The Persimmon Ridge Soccer League, me and both of my sisters did that for one of the, soccer seasons. I don't think we won a single game, but apparently we were the best defense in the entire league. I played goalie. I'd always been into, the idea of acting, and after that soccer season, I did one of the children's productions at the JRT. I only did one of the children's shows when I was younger, but I did volunteer there frequently and help with the lights and such.
Do you like computers?
Oh yes, I built my own and I've upgraded it a few times and essentially built a new one at this point. I've replaced everything except the hard drives in it. I didn't really have anyone to connect to regarding that for a while until I started going to ETSU last year, and there's a gamers club that I started attending there. I took a good few gap years after I graduated high school for that specific reason of, I don't know what I want to do. I don't care about any of this stuff. My dad was pushing me, not all right, well, no, it was actually quite literally, all right, we're gonna sign you up for ETSU. The thing that jumped out to me most was theater. A favorite class, I'd have to go so far, theater production. It had two different halves for the two halves of the semester. The first half was in the costume department, focusing on sewing machines, all that sort of stuff. I learned a lot more than I ever would have about sewing in that half. And then the other half was in, more of a practical set design, environment, working with, power tools like miter saws, table saws, all that sort of stuff. I'm glad I waited because, I don't know if they would have been properly moved into the Martin Center, which is a much better facility than what they had before, which I only heard in stories. But, the Martin Center is specifically made for, all of this stuff.
Do you consider yourself a Jonesboroughian?
Yes and no. Yes, in the case of, okay, I've lived here my whole life. But also no in the way that I don't feel like I act and behave like, the general, Jonesborough citizen. In the past few years, one thing that's been increasingly an issue is, people have been way too political in the area, honestly. I'm all for, have any political belief, but people have been way too mean about political beliefs around here lately. And kind of ignorant, too, because, I don't engage in, this next door neighborhood page that my dad is in. Oh my God, the people on there are idiots. It seems like it's just a vocal minority of people, honestly. Everyone around here is just so nice.
Okay.
Mostly, again, that small vocal minority. You have, the very occasional, crackpot who's why are you like this? Jonesborough Days last year, 2023, there was just some gun, some guy had, 3 guns on him standing on one of the street corners, by Mox, I think it is. And, he was just preaching, about, gays are the sins of the world, and there were some cops just standing, at the ready, in case okay, better just keep it at that, buddy. One thing that's a tradition is, a yearly trip to Jonesborough Days, even if it's just a quick 45-minute walk around, see the vendors, grab something from the food stalls. Usually, on a trip home, we drive through downtown past everything, and it's always nice just to see downtown itself, especially during Christmas with all those lights all the time. I love the area. It's a beautiful place, but it doesn't feel like it's catered towards someone like me who's more of like an indoor video gamey kind of person, obviously, because it's an outdoorsy historical kind of location. And those aren't things that are inherently natural to me as like interests, but obviously some interest because it's where I live, it's my home. Okay, something that did surprise me. So I only know Jonesborough as it is today. I've heard stories of what Jonesborough was like when my dad moved here, and it was much more of a concrete, dying town back then, be around 25 to 28-ish years ago. It was a lot more rundown from what I've heard. The sidewalks, weren't the very nice looking brick ones they have now. They were just kind of dingy concrete sidewalks. It's got that classic, American vibe that you'd only find someplace like Main Street USA Disney. That's what my dad often compares it to. Leading into that, with the way some people walk downtown, no care for cars or sidewalks. It doesn't feel like a real town sometimes. It feels like it's a preserved historical monument. I'm hoping, I don't know if they've started back up with it again, but I think it was the candy shop was doing those movies on Main for a while. I want to see more events like that happen downtown again, because it made the downtown area feel more community based rather than just like, all right, drive downtown, walk downtown, that's it really.
Do you see yourself staying here?
It's hard to say. With the career path I want to get into, it's possible I could. I want to get into voice acting eventually. I do some like online stuff occasionally, and it's definitely something that's feasible to do while I'm in Jonesborough, since in recent years it's become a lot more feasible to do remote work like that. But if I had to move for a job like that, pretty much in a heartbeat I would, because it's my dream job.
Is there a voice you would do?
So
Do you have any like impersonations or anything?
I've got one that always is like one of my favorites to do. Wario from the Super Mario series. I've been told it's like spot on.
I would love to hear that.
Hello, it's me, Wario. Hello, welcome to Wario World. Well, have a rotten day.